Hello, YouTube. I'm Dr. Tactical, and the doctor will see you in the dark now. Welcome back to the channel. And again, we're stuck looking out the window of my suite here in the Venetian. I asked them to give me a good view, and I got stuck with this this lit up round thing behind me. The sphere, which by the way is really cool. It's even cooler in person. Haven't made it inside of it yet. But anyway, welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to talk about the C, the new C. In fact, that's what I'm going to call it now. Not the new Staccato C, but the Staccato NEW C. I'm pretty sure I coined that. Anyway, I'll hold on to it for now. But you know, this is, I've taken a lot of heat because I said that they were going to probably get rid of the C2. And a lot of people were really upset about that because they love their C2. And don't hate the player, blame the game. I see it coming. I saw it coming when the C was going to go. I did not see this coming with bringing the C back. This surprised me. And the question I have is, where does the C fit? I understand the XC. The XC is sort of a competition level gun that is carryable by those who want to carry it, but it's really competition level, precision. You know, it's you know, got the soft springs. That's its thing. The P is a duty gun. It's an outside the waistband work gun. Shoots like a champ, you know, and then you've got the L, which brings it back to almost a, brings it to a competition level gun. I mean, they're every one of their guns is a competition level gun to somebody, you know, to some extent. But the XC, that's kind of its wheelhouse. The P, that's a workhorse. That's a duty gun. The C2 was the concealed carry gun. Well, the C was the concealed carry gun first, but it was a single stack, so you didn't have near the capacity that you had in the others. The C2 doubled the capacity, a little bit bigger, so they tossed the C completely, which made sense because you know, not a lot of people want to make the sacrifice of going to lower capacity. Then they came up with the CS, and the CS was really much more of a carry gun because they took that magazine that they've been using that's a little bit longer for the 38 Supers, which nobody uses anymore, and forced them to have a bigger grip. And they brought it back down to a regular 9mm you know, magazine, which allowed them to make the grip smaller. Which, by the way, they can always make the grip bigger. For those of you who are like, well, you know, they should make it with big grips. They still can. They have the ability to, but you can't make it smaller when you've got that 38 Super, you know, ability with the magazine. All right. So in comes now. So it was narrowed down to, you know, you got your XC class, you got all your Ps, you got your CS. Boom. Now we've got the C back again, the new C. Where does that fit? And it does. It reminds me of that Homer Simpson line when he gained all that weight at his class reunion and he won the award for having gained the most weight. And they said, speech, tell us, how did you do it? And he said, I discovered a meal between breakfast and brunch. That's kind of where this is. I'm not really sure where this fits. So I went back to Staccato and I wanted to find out what, you know, why did they come up with this gun? And where does it fit? And I was lucky enough to speak to Brad there, and let's... Dr. Tactical here with Brad from Staccato. So, big question I've had, you know, since they've come out with this new C is, where does it fit? Yeah, I just bought my CS, and Staccato said, well, how can we get more money out of Dr. Tactical? And they might have found a way. Go ahead, would you mind telling us where the new C fits and what the thought process is behind it?
Yeah, so the new C...
The new C, sorry, I said yeah.
Yeah, the new C is basically, the easiest way to think about it is like a big brother to the CS. So a little bit longer barrel, so we went from 3.5 out to 4 inches. There's gonna be 2 grip options. So if you like the length on your CS, You can keep with that grip, you're 16 plus 1, and you're good. Or you can go with a full-length grip, and that'll be 18 plus 1. So if you want a little bit, depending on hand size, or if you're carrying concealed, or if you're using more kind of other purposes, you can have either that grip size there, or you can go to 18, which is the full length, which you can see on a Staccato P.
Right.
But all of the other technology in terms of like the barrel technology, the external extractor, the little slide cuts in the frame rails, all of that technology that we first saw in the CS has made its way into the C. I think where some of the confusion was, the old C was a single stack.
Right.
So that was a single stacked C that ran off 1911 magazines, 9mm 1911 magazines. This one is using the same magazines as the CS. So if you have this grip,
which I like, that really works better for my hands.
Yeah. So if this grip works well for you, and let's say you've got 5 CS magazines, they're all interchangeable. Now, if you go to the longer one, it'll be 18 rounds. So you could take that 18 round magazine, put it into your CS, but the 16 obviously won't fit into the C. So depending on kind of where you want to go with that, with hand size and use, it kind of goes back and forth. The other nice thing that they did with the C is it has a full length recoil system.
Okay.
So a little bit more rod, a little bit more stroke, a little bit more spring. So it makes the gun shoot a little bit softer. Another thing was we made the frame slightly wider. So if you look at the gun, I don't know if the camera will pick up on it, but this edge here from the side of the slide down to the frame is a straight line. If you look at the other guns, like we'll look at a C2, you can see where the slide is actually wider than the frame.
Oh, I see.
So we took this part of the frame and widened it out. It's a little bit longer and also a little bit thicker. So all that extra material is giving the frame a little bit more rigidity. It's giving it a little bit more weight for the gun.
When I was at Prairie Fire, it was dark and it was raining, and they were telling me it was a little bit thicker. And when I came here and started looking, I'm like, I don't see it. But now I understand where you're talking about on the frame itself. But it's not widening the profile of the gun, because you still have the slide is the same width.
So basically, we just brought the frame out to the same thickness as the slide. So it's not going to change, it's not sticking out. It's not like a wide body. So it's still nice and slim.
And you were saying, so the purpose of this gun, where it fits into this gun, I look at the P, I look at the XC as sort of a competition type gun, a fun range gun. I look at the P as sort of a holstering gun and outside the waistband, open carry type of thing. I was looking at the C2 as sort of my compact, now the CS. Where does this sort of go into this?
So kind of the idea with this one is, like, the hypothetical question always is, if you could only have one gun, if you could only have one Staccato, which one are you going to go?
Which is not the case. You're allowed to get more. Yeah.
Well, depending what state you live in.
Just call
but yes. So if you could only have one of these guns, and you want a gun that you can conceal, maybe a gun for the house, a gun to go shoot with your buddies and beat them with, maybe even do competitions with. So the 4-inch gun with the full-length recoil system, especially with the longer grip, you get the full-length rear mainspring housing. That's probably like your one gun if you were forced to do so.
Gotcha.
So maybe a little bit bigger, too big for some people to want to carry. You might have to dress around it so it doesn't print.
Well, some of us are, well, you can't see. I purposely cut the camera off at the this level. Some of us are a little, have less room because of other things.
So I mean, I've carried full-size guns the whole first part of my professional side. So it was full-size Berettas, full-size 1911s. So you can do it. You have a good belt, a good holster. It's very easy to do. I think we've kind of gotten a little bit lazy because this is what I carry now.
Yeah.
And it's like it just disappears. It goes in my holster. The gun disappears. I got 16 plus 1, super accurate. I mean, I shoot this thing on an A-zone steel out. So we do like a walk back at like 70 yards, just one-handed. For a compact carry gun is crazy.
Yeah. Well, fantastic. Brett, I really appreciate it. Thank you for taking the time.
Absolutely, Dak.
Okay, and there you have it. And by the way, it was kind of hard to see with the pictures, even with me blowing them up. But that area on the slide, and I blew up some bigger ones I was going to try and show, but I think it's kind of evident. The slides all are the same width. The difference is, you know, on the frame underneath. It's now even in the CS and the new C. They both have the frame contiguous with the slide as far as the width there. Where the C2 and the P, it narrows, so the slide is a little thicker once it gets past that, you know, the grip module. So I see what he's talking about, the thickness there. I didn't understand when he was talking about it. I misunderstood. I thought he was saying the CS also. And by the way, when I was at Prairie Fire and I shot this, the new C for the first time, they were explaining to me that it was one of the things was that the new C is thicker. It's not thicker than the CS, or at least I don't see that. It is thicker than the C2. It is thicker than the P. I didn't look at the XC today, but it's probably is. It's just the frame portion. Anyway, I promised Brad I'd let him close this out with me. So back to Brad for a moment. Dr. Tactical, out.